Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Soulstorm cast this side of East Yorkshire, and today we have a 1 vs 1 on Titanfall Remastered. Over at the Necron corner we've got All Seeing Eye. That's over in the Space Marine corner we have Bhaltair, Roshaun. Roshaun going to go for double Scout Marines as well as a Chapel Barracks, whereas the Necron player is going to go for a smattering of Scarabs, double Necron Warriors, couple Plasma Generators and a Gauss Turret. I do quite like the positioning of this Gauss Turret, smack bang in between these two strategic points. So if the Space Marine player comes in with any harassment in the form of maybe a Force Commander from this Chapel Barracks, then this Gauss Turret will be able to cover either of these, and also all these Plasma Generators as well. So yeah, very good, quite like that, nice one. Chapel Barracks going to, yeah, there we go, going to see a Force Commander coming out. Do have a Plasma Generator as well. Scouts just capturing their bits and bobs, nearest and dearest, fairest and farthest and all that jazz. Scarabs don't need to push out too far to capture their strategic points. After all, their obelisks only really improve their building time and squad cap, and at early stages in the game, the Necron player doesn't really need all that in the way of squad cap. I do quite like how this Ghost Turret has not been finished off, so what they're going to do is that they're going to not build it entirely, wait to see if there's any Space Marine mischief, and if there is no Space Marine mischief, then they can delete it. I imagine once both of these Necron Warriors come online, if there's no harassment from the Space Marine player, then they can just cancel this Ghost Turret and regain their green money. Listening post just been popped up over here. I imagine Force Commander will come down, maybe being supported by some Space Marines as and when they get recruited. Scouts capturing the final position within the base. No one going for their relic at the moment, as it does take a while for them to be captured. Their squad of Necrons on the field. Another squad just a quarter of the way. So it'll be interesting to see which direction the Necron player goes. After all, they can just build up a whole host of Necron warriors. But then again, the Space Marines themselves, they are quite resilient against the Necron warriors. I mean, 2 squads of Space Marines, maybe a couple of Flamers on them. Get to tier 2, get some heavy bolters on them, will be ideal for taking down Necron warriors. But these guys don't mind being in close combat neither. I mean, compare their punching power to their range power. It's not something to be sniffed at. 2 Necron warriors down, as we say. Once both of these boys are down, Ghost Turret has been cancelled. And Force Commander, he will be able to do a serious amount of damage to these Necron warriors, but these guys can just replace themselves fairly quickly. And you don't really need to kill the enemy Force Commander this early on in the game. Just get him down to low enough health, and that'll make him a little less useful in the later stages of the mid-game and whatnot. Scouts over here will see these build Scarabs. Will deny them their strategic point, potentially. Yep, there we go. Not quite getting that obelisk down on there in time, so Scouts will be able to decap that. Forced away by this Force Commander. Necron Lord now out on the field. Not known for going toe-to-toe with Force Commander, but supported with some Necron Warriors will be able to do a sizable amount of damage, I do reckon. We'll play a game of leapfrog with him, just jumping over him. Going to completely ignore him. Build Scarabs will see him. The listing posts being upgraded to tier 2. I do quite like the positioning of these buildings. Both these Plasma Generators have been tucked just behind this listing post. That's been upgraded, so if the Necron player wants to do any harassment, then he's going to contend with that natural turret from the listing post. Scarabs just being harassed by the Scouts. Double Warriors coming over here. We do have the Force Commander in the base. Doing a little bit of damage to the Plasma Generator, although it's nothing that the Builder Scarabs can't tank away themselves. Now with another squad of Necron Warriors on the field as well, will be able to chunk away at that Force Commander. Probably will have to retreat at some point. Necron Warriors over here, focus firing on this listing post. We've done some Space Marines on the go for the Space Marine player. Unit of Builder Scarabs over here being wiped out. Do have the upgrade for the Necron Warriors now, so now their punching and ranged power are equal. Second squad of Space Marines on the way as well. Scouts trying to tie these guys up as much as possible, though it does look like there'll be a squad wipe for their Scouts, which is very unfortunate. Servitor over here going to be beaten up from a distance. Although keeping that listening post online for as long as they need to. Does look like that. There we go. The Necron Warriors will have to teleport away. Force Commander looks like he stayed a little bit too long, as his health is not all that healthy at the moment. Triple Necron Warriors out on the field now. Do have some Flayed ones on the go. Summoning Core. No artifacts for the Necron player at the moment. So no John Cena beams, no phase shifting. Bit of a stuttered assault though this. These two Necron Warriors over here, not quite in range. Left this squad of Necron Warriors alone in the world. Necron Lord now teleporting in. He is also quite low on health. Flayed ones teleporting round on the backside. Third squad of Space Marines on the go. No tier 2 by the looks of things. No extra weapons for them. So they are just going in bolters in hand. We'll be able to outmaneuver these Flayed ones though. And again, this listening post being able to provide constant DPS while this engagement goes on. Necron Lord teleporting somewhere. Not sure where he's gone. Oh, it's just gone right. There does manage to take down this listening post. 70 green money and 76 build time compared to 92 and 20. We do have sniper training going for the scouts. But they'll be able to do a fair amount of damage towards Necron Warriors, although not entirely sure whether it's maybe just for the morale damage. Obviously, when the morale of the Necrons have been damaged, they lose, well, not lose, but they have a drastically reduced rebuild rate, so that might be the idea behind these sniper rifles. But these Necron Warriors are heavy infantry, so they will be able to shrug off a good bulk of the damage. Necron Builder Scabs capturing the critical locations. Countdown will begin. Third critical location also being capped at the moment. And it's a slow march for these Necron Warriors. They're just managing to tank all kinds of damage at the moment. Cornering these Space Marines. Doing a fair bit of damage. Might even get a squad wipe potentially. Breaking the morale. Will force these guys back. Space Marines are not cheap to replace 50 blue money apiece. Tier 2 going down, as well as an armory. So we'll probably see these heavy bolters coming online. While yes, there are some Flayed ones on the field, they do take a significant amount of time to get into close combat. So apart from that Necron Lord, you don't really have that much of a risk of getting your units tied up in close combat. No tier 2 going for the Necron player at the moment. It will take them a little while to get that online, as the build speed for Necrons aren't all that fast. And it's always a risk how do I say it? It's also a risk taking up for Necrons as well, because while your monolith is going into tier 2, you aren't able to get any more units on the field. But then again, they have got a good defensible amount of Necrons on the field. So I don't think there's much of a risk going on there. Necron Lord's still very, very low on health. Without his phase shift ability, his regen capabilities aren't all that impressive in the grand scheme of things. Tier 2 going for the Necron player. Plasma pistols for the Force Commander being upgraded. Also going to go for Sergeants. So Sergeants will also have access to those plasma pistols. Will drastically increase the DPS that they can bring to bear against these warriors. Obelisk going down over here as well. We'll have to see some decapping of these critical locations at some point by the Space Marine player. There we go. Now that the plasma pistols are online, you can quickly see how improved the DPS for the Space Marines are. So the Necro player will have to switch up his composition somewhat. Get some destroyers in the mix as soon as possible, I reckon. We'll have to fall back. Allow the Space Marines to take down this obelisk. But not falling back all the way to the base. Do quite like that. Still giving them chance to play a bit defensively around this side of the map. But it is kind of risky because if they get into a sticky situation, they won't be able to run away again. Not for a little while. Ghost turret out over here. Flayed ones popping up from the ground. Necron Lord also tying up the best he can. Phase shift coming online for him. It will be all about this Necron Lord micro, I do believe. This is quite a firing line for the Necrons to deal with, so the Necron Lord will have to do his best to keep these guys occupied while these Necron warriors get their DPS in.
While the enemies of the Emperor still draw breath, they can be no
John Cena beam coming down, preventing the fire from these Space Marines.
Yes, my lord.
One squad over here losing a couple of their models. What's going on the base at the moment? Some frag grenades, Sacred Artifact, target finders, more Necron warriors coming online. So it might be a case of just get as many infantry units as possible. But I'm not sure if that's the way forward, to be honest. This is Necron warriors aren't standing up too well against these guys. And Necron Lord also falling in this engagement here. Flayed ones there, they're doing an alright job. Getting blundered up by a frag grenade, but they're at least keeping these guys occupied, allowing the Necron warriors to fall back. Thermoplasma generator coming down. Ghost turret now upgraded, will be effective against anything and everything that comes nearby.
My faith is my shield.
Might even need to get a second one, to be honest. Builder Scarab falling foul to the plasma fire. Necron warriors doing their best, but losing the morale, the will to live, or the will to stay undead. If that is even what you would call the Necron situation. Chaplain coming out. Necron warriors over here trying to do their best against this listing post. Probably been forgotten about in the humdrum and chaos of all this stuff going on. Plasma generator might want to be cancelled, in all honesty. Doesn't look like it's going to survive very long. 105 and 30 compared to 110 and 100%. So the building speed is ideal for Necrons at the moment. Necron Lord back online, throwing down a John Cena beam. More Necrons in, but they will teleport away. Now, actually, to be honest, well, the thermoplasma generator is in a difficult situation. So long as this Necron Lord can just prove to be a nuisance and distract the fire, they will be able to get at least a couple of minutes of power time out of this plasma generator. It's not all gone. Flayed one's teleporting around the back. Chaplain on his way in will give units nearby him a health regen. I do apologise, I'm receiving a phone call. Just give us 2 seconds.
1 minute.
And we're back. I'm terribly sorry about that. It's had a phone call and it was quite an important one. I'll let you know at the end of the game because it is quite an important thing that I need to bring up at the end. But anyway, where was we? Flayed ones. They're doing bits and bobs. John Cena beam comes down. Necron warriors coming round on the sides. Builder Scarab's also there for good measure. Does seem that the Necrons have got a bit of staying power now that Necron Lord is doing his bits and bobs. Has been slowed down by some Chaplain nonsense there. Will not be able to tie them up in the ways that he wished to do. It seems like he's swimming in molasses at the moment, but now back on, will teleport away. It does look like this thermoplasma generator is finally going the way of the dinosaur. Necron warriors watching on impotently. We've got some assault marines coming on, which is quite a nice touch. Some inspiring aura, which will allow everyone nearby the force command to gain a bonus to their damage. So it does look like a very infantry-based composition from the Space Marines. No machine cult as of yet. And to be honest, normally you would see Space Marines going for a bit of a Rhino, or one Rhino or two Rhinos to help with the manoeuvrability. But then again, against the Necrons with their lack of manoeuvrability, you don't really need all that much. Necrons going for a second push in. Phase shift going on. Do have some... that's what I was thinking, right? So I was... All the way for this match, I was thinking, what could the Necrons do to counter this massive plasma guns? But Wraiths are probably the ideal thing to go for in this situation. So long as you can get past these Assault Marines there. Because Assault Marines are known for... I mean, they're not the best in close combat in the grand scheme of things, but they certainly do the job when supported by their tactical comrades. Jumping in, going to be doing the best they can on auto-reinforce at the moment, so they're just there for the staying power. Necrons don't want to see hide or hair of them, so they will teleport away off all the way back home by the looks of things. Great Summoning Core online. More Necron Warriors coming in as well. And I imagine that once the Necron player does decide to go for some destroyers, they will get some crack grenades for these Assault Marines. Grey Knights also out on the field. Potential for upgrades in the form of a Furious Charge. They also have Smite as well, able to do area effect damage. Necron Lord looks like he was getting a little bit of a gangbang going on over there. Will teleport away there. Destroyer now out on the field. And can I just say as well, I think we said this last time we watched an All-Seeing Eye game when he plays Necrons, but he does have just a wonderful colour scheme. Purple and gold. Definitely what you want to see on your destroyers there. Space Marines moving on the left flank. Assault Marines on the right. Keeping away these Builder Scarabs. Not giving them an inch of breathing room. We do now have some missile launchers going on for these tacticals. Priming themselves, getting ready for some base cracking, no doubt. Also will be good to take care of these destroyers. Assault Marines jumping around the side. Decapping this strategic point over here. More Assault Marines as well, going to see if they can harass and harry any of the other buildings. Big engagement going on now. Necron Lord teleporting in. Going to see if we can take care of these Assault Marines. Furious Charge from the Grey Knights knocks the Necron Lord all the way back. Smite being popped down here. Although thankfully the phase shift from the Necron Lord will stop the majority of that damage. But not quite saving them for very long as he manoeuvres away. We'll have to move out of that Smite. It is quite a long ability. Doesn't do all that much damage, but if you stay in there for long, you certainly feel the effect. Double Destroyers moving forward. Seeing if they can focus down on these close combat units. Necron Lord tossing a Sergeant to a side. Was it a Sergeant? No, it wasn't a Sergeant. It was just a regular old Tactical Marine. Nothing special. Tomb Spider now out. Will help the Necron Warriors stay in fighting form. We've been able to rebuild as and when the Necron Warriors tend to fall. So, be able to have a constant assault going on. Second Tomb Spider coming out here. Maybe want to send that round over this way where all these tasty Necrons are lying down. This Tomb Spider has gone down though, which is very unfortunate. Not the tankiest of units is the Tomb Spider apparently. Well, to be honest, the Necron vehicle roster, shall we say, is not the best in all honesty. If when it comes to being blown up by missiles and whatnot. Necron Lord again forcing these Space Marines back with his cursed artifacts. Grey Knights are having a time of their life in the midst of all the Necron warriors being smacked around there, getting a taste of their own medicine in close combat. Doesn't look like they've overstayed their welcome. Not sure if the chaplain... the chaplain's been killed.
The Emperor protects.
Force Commander still on low health. Full squad wipe for those... what do you call them? For those Grey Knights. Chaplain being rebuilt.
While the enemies of the Emperor still draw breath, there can be no peace.
Awaiting orders.
And it all goes relatively quiet, just posturing, manoeuvring around the battlefield. No one wants to get into too much combat at the moment. Space Marines have lost their Assault Marines. Plasma generator on over here. Oh no, never mind. There's one squad still left alive. We'll be decapping this relic over yonder. No risk of a restored monolith at the moment there, as they do need their... I think it's their energy core, he says with no degree of confidence. Chaplain online with his Crozius of death. Necron Warriors teleporting in, going to push back the Space Marines. And it does look like they've had their second upgrade, which gives them all very good, decent ranged capabilities. Out DPSing even the plasma guns of the Space Marines. Machine Cult coming out, that's probably what the Space Space Marine player wants to transition into something a little bit more deadly. In fact, maybe even now Rhinos might be the idea. Maneuver around, fire away, jump all the guys back in there. And then a sort of different part of the Necron base. Doom Spider with his particle projector out. Smite going down here. Slowing down all these guys. Grey Knights revivified in the battle. Necron Lord just chilling out in the Smite. Feeling the static. And what's going to go on? We do have quite a decent green flirt from Roshaun. And with relatively low blue money, it might mean that he'll have to, rather than going for anything like Hellfire Dreadnoughts or anything big and tasty like that, it might have to be something more akin to Land Speeders, which, to be fair, Land Speeders wouldn't be a bad shout. Land Speeders, obviously with their big heavy bolters, will be able to chunk away at these Necron warriors. Although the sheer amount of them will still be vulnerable even without anti-vehicle fire. Doom Spider doing its best to keep everything online, although the focus fire from these tacticals taking a fair bit of damage. You have a Hellfire Dreadnought coming out. Oh, that's unfortunate. It does cost 3 vehicle cap, so Space Marine player will need to get an upgrade for that as well. So it will delay the time that the Hellfire Dreadnought comes out. But Space Marines do seem to be holding back. Without the... Has a Necron Lord gone down? Where is he? Ah, the Necron Lord just chilling out here. So without the assistance for the Necron Lord, these Necron warriors aren't doing all that well, surprisingly. Though now he's teleporting in. Probably will see the beam come down. Though we've only seen his phase shift and his beam. I wonder... You can see these little scarabee bits around him. Does help him with his... Reduces the ranged damage and also helps him with his health regen. So I'm not sure if that comes with the phase shift or whether... I just want to see a really good resurrection orb. I think it's the best... Like, visually, it's the most stunning ability that you can see in the game. In my honest, humble opinion. Do a Rhino Transport coming out. Hellfire Dreadnought. Second Hellfire Dreadnought also on the cards as well. How much does it cost in the grand scheme of things? Oh, actually, tell you what then. Yeah, 100 blue money and 250 green money. It's not that expensive in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, maybe just skip out on Land Speeders. Just go straight for that Hellfire Dreadnought. Space Marines taking on this obelisk.
Taking heavy fire.
This is where I leave you.
Taking hits.
What would you have me do?
5 minutes until taking.
Rhino Transport nuzzling the side of this thermoplasma generator. Necron Lord trying desperately to keep these guys off the position. Warriors slowly but surely manoeuvring, and there we go. That is the advantage of the Rhino. Look, oh, hoi, haha. Now that's a bit cheeky. I'm not sure if that's allowed. That's I mean, all's fair in love and war, but come on, using those ghost turrets to prevent the manoeuvring of the Rhino Transport. Bad sportsmanship, I would say, Mr. All-Seeing Eye. But here's a game between friends. Rhino going to deposit these guys outside the base, focusing on the Tomb Spider. A volley of missile fire will take him down. Only 2 volleys required. Necron Monolith on the cusp of waking up.
4 minutes.
Necron warriors returning back to the base slowly. Oh bloody hell, that is a... Well, that is an ambush if I've ever did seen one. Assault Marines narrowly surviving death, although they were expecting these Hellfire Dreadnoughts. Hellfire Dreadnoughts going to run away as quickly as they can, even without the anti-vehicle capabilities of the Immortals. Hellfire Dreadnoughts still don't want to stand around on there. Well, now turn around there and focus fire on this Necron Lord. 78 and 34 compared to the 156 of the Necrons. The Necrons do have a serious economic advantage. Thermal plasma generator over here. In fact, double thermal plasma generators. That is not what you want to see the Necrons have. Space Marines have not been able to really command the map all that well. Focusing, well, being pushed back quite a lot by the Necron warriors, not being able to capture these middle strategic points. Heavy Destroyer now out on the field. We'll see if he can take care of this Hellfire Dreadnought. Heavy Destroyers being a unique vehicle unit in the sense that it can engage in close combat. And in close combat, it's not too bad against heavy infantry. There's 65 to 100 damage per pop. It's not completely useless in close combat, although that's not where it wants to be. Librarian now on the field, going to read some books. These Necron warriors, although these guys have lost their library card, they don't want to be reading the more audiobook kind of guys, these lads. Assault Marines moving in. Space Marine player will have to manoeuvre backwards. Rhino moving back, and we've got a... oh, never mind. Looked like a Assault Marine just kind of chilling out there before fading back into the ether. Hellfire Dreadnoughts, while good against heavy infantry and infantry, with their missiles on them as well, they're not hard counters to either or. They're a nice addition, but they're not exactly a silver bullet to any situation. 2 Assault Marines. They say that 2 is just as lonely as 1, and the Necron Warriors kind of just teleport away. Ah, they are coming back to defend this thermoplasma generator, almost being taken care of by these Space Marines. In fact, will even be taking care of them. Forcing these guys back. Well, I mean, the Necron Warriors could have just stayed over in the base and done some damage, but hey ho, they still have this... oh, I said they still have. The Space Marine player must have destroyed it at some point. Going for a second Gauss turret, going to be upgraded to tier 2. All these obelisks are being upgraded. More turrets on the go as well. Necron Lord not having the best of times.
1 minute until taken hold victory.
Necron Warriors still doing their best. And it's a bit of a slugfest, to be honest. It's no one place can seem to get too much of a hold. I do believe that Necron player does have the advantage purely from an economic standpoint. He is primed and ready to go for the late tier units with his restored monolith and whatnot.
30 seconds until...
oh dear, 30 seconds, all-seeing eye. Having the critical location, to be honest, it does look like the Space Marine player either too distracted with the combat, or... yeah, it does look like 15 seconds, no unit nearby to capture anything. That is very unfortunate. It's difficult to keep your eyes on the prize when all this chaos and madness is happening in the middle, and I think this is probably our first genuine critical location victory for a vanilla game on this channel, so marvellous play by both players. Yeah, anyway, thanks for coming, see you in a bit, peace, all that jazz. If I could get a bit personal before I sign off tonight, that phone call I had midway through this game, it was from a place called Dove House Hospice, which in Hull, and in England, it's a place where people who are terminally ill with diseases, they chill out and spend the last few days of their life in comfort and whatnot. That phone conversation that interrupted this game was from a nurse there, just informing me that one of my good friends has recently passed away, and so I apologise if the remainder of the cast was of me being a bit shell-shocked, but I wanted to finish it because I wanted just to share, I don't know, a bit of I don't know, like it's weird life, isn't it? It's you're here 1 minute, gone the next, and if you've got any friends or any family and you haven't seen them for a while, or maybe you know, you want to say some words to them. I mean, thankfully, because we saw this coming, I got to say all the things I wanted to say to him. You know, last time I saw him, he was in good spirits and good health. But I understand that it could have very easily have gone the other way, and maybe didn't have the chance to say all the things I wanted to say to him. So, yeah, if you've got friends and family and all that jazz, and you're blessed in that way, then spend as much time as you can with them. You know, because you never know when it's all gonna end and whatnot. Anyway, sorry for that ending on that diner. My name's been Mr. Landshark. Pleasure's always, never short. And I'll see you in a bit. Peace.